And there is peace in the storm, in the storm. No, don't forget, He is Lord of all. There is a King of glory, there is a God who saves, one who is strong and mighty, freedom is in His name. So open the gates of heaven, lift up a shout of praise. There is a lion roaring, Jesus the King of glory. So lift your eyes, stand in awe, and there is one, only one, where my help comes from. Lift your eyes, oh sing. There is a King of glory, there is a God who saves, one who is strong and mighty, freedom is in His name. So open the gates of heaven, lift up a shout of praise. There is a lion roaring, Jesus the King of glory. Nations bow, mountains shake at the sound of just one name. Over all, Jesus reigns. I know. Nations bow, mountains shake at the sound of just one name. Over all, Jesus reigns. I know. There is a King of glory, there is a God who saves, one who is strong and mighty, freedom is in His name. So open the gates of heaven, lift up a shout of praise. There is a lion roaring, Jesus the King of glory. There is a lion roaring, Jesus the King of glory.
Hey guys, it's officially summer and I'm so excited. I love warm weather, but I want to introduce you guys today to my friend Katie. She is the new Student Ministries Director at the Denver campus and we're so excited that she's here. Katie, can you burp the alphabet? Just curious.
Oh, no, but I could say it backwards.
Nice. Maybe we'll hear that one day.
One day.
But I'm really excited because today Katie's taking us through the show All American and the worldview from that, and I'm really excited to hear what she has to say.
Hey guys, my name is Katie Derry and I'm the new student director at the Denver campus. Like Nicole said, we're going into week 2 of On the Couch. I don't know about you, but recently I've been feeling pretty overwhelmed and helpless just with everything that's going on in society. 2020 has been quite the year already. Between a global pandemic and exposure of deep-rooted racism and just overall division in politics and where people are standing is leaving me feeling quite heartbroken, helpless, crying out to God a lot. Well, last week, Joseph and Ethan talked about onward and finding a sense of wonder in the kingdom of God here on earth and having a with God kind of life. Today we're going to be talking about an epic Netflix show called All American. All American is awesome and every student director is obsessed with it. No topic is left off the table in this show. It covers sexuality, LGBTQ community, racism. I mean, nothing gets left out. A lot of those things can be a definition of our identity, but today we're going to be talking about who does God say we are and who's our identity in God. So let me give you a quick recap of the show and talk about a couple of the main characters to paint you a picture of how each one of the students identifies oneself while trying to grow up, handle all of their teenage emotions, and be a good and decent person at the same time. Spencer James, the main character, is from Crenshaw. Spencer James plays football and is recruited by the Beverly Hills coach to play on their team. Spencer is an athlete, a son, a brother, a good friend, good character, integrity, a straight-A student, and overall a great young man, although he really struggles with his stubbornness. Another character is Olivia Baker. Olivia Baker is a twin to Jordan Baker, daughter to Laura and Billy Baker. She's rebellious and somewhat of an outcast at Beverly Hills High. Olivia's best friend is Layla Keating. Layla Keating is the dream girl of Beverly Hills High. Layla comes off extremely put together as she's always doing a good job in school and always dressed to the nines. But we all know just because someone comes off put together does not mean that their life is not broken or experiencing some hardships. These are just some of the main characters that I want to talk about today. There's a bunch of other football players in the show that play important roles into the story behind All-American. So you may be asking me, why did you bring up all these characters? Well, that's because so many different types of descriptions to identify who each one of them are. But what is our identity? Better yet, who does God say I am? Identity. It's what makes you, you, right? In a world that has so many different avenues and different ways to define and identify someone, we all want to figure out who we are and be known. But yet we don't want to be labeled, generalized, or categorized, yet we want to have a sense of community and belonging. Identity, where do I belong? Is it my hobbies that make me who I am? Is it my sexuality who makes me who I am? Is it where I grew up? Is it how much money I have? Is it how many followers I have? How many likes I get? What kind of content? What's my message? Who are my friends? Is it my family? The color of my skin? Identity is what makes me, me, right? It's probably one of the most complex things we will ever navigate in our lifetimes. Probably one of the hardest as well. In a world that tells us who to be and where to be, and they want to label us and categorize us, it makes me feel a lot of pressure to figure out, why am I like this and why is this person like that? Just like we saw with the character Olivia, she felt that pressure. And when she felt that pressure, she turned to drugs and alcohol, and she was faded all the time, avoiding her reality. And when it came to her relationship with Asher, she didn't want to face any of that shame and guilt she felt. She wanted to avoid the mistakes of her past because it made her present in the fact that she had made those choices. And when she tries to reconnect with her friend Layla, she feels like she can't. She feels this gap and inability to feel connected to her because she's living in that shame. She can't escape her past. Even though she's actively trying to use her sobriety to become a new person, we see this redemptive moment between Olivia and Layla that shows that she can be new. She can have that redemption and friendship that she craves. Watching Olivia's story is a good reminder that the truth sets you free, that you can live a life that is unburdened and free of shame. In John 14, Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and you can be free. I think that's my favorite part about having a relationship with Jesus and living that with God kind of life, is that He really knows me. He knows every part of me. I don't have to hide anything. I can talk to Jesus about anything I need to process or anything I'm experiencing or going through. All of my mistakes, He loves me, and that love doesn't change. This reminds me of a story in 2 Corinthians when Paul was in a vulnerable time in his life, just like we're in a vulnerable time in our lives. Amidst a global pandemic and division in our country, Paul was experiencing the same thing as the church was struggling and quarreling within itself. And Paul so desperately wanted to preserve the unity in the church. And he had to remind them that amidst their quarrels, to stay unified, that they were God's ambassadors and that God chose them, just like we are God's ambassadors and God chose us. So even though there was division in the church, Paul reminded them in 2 Corinthians 5:17, this means that anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone and a new life has begun. And just like Paul said, everybody that belongs to Christ is made new. And we don't know why society labels us or how they identify us or how we identify ourselves, whether it's our eyes, our nose, our smiles, our hair, our skin, where we come from, our team, whatever it is. All of that kind of fades away when I ask myself, who am I and who am I to God? You may have noticed earlier that I made a couple outfit changes. I think that's important to be reminded that we can change our clothes and have different outfits, participate in different activities and hobbies, all things that the world uses as identifiers, but really our identity comes from God. And who God says I am is that I'm valuable and I have a purpose and I'm loved and that He wants good for me.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you're struggling or you want to talk about the world's current events or something going on in your life, please reach out to your student director or one of your leaders. And if you're feeling lost, that's totally okay and that's totally normal.
Yeah, thanks again for joining me, guys. Just a reminder, we love you and we want good for you and we're here for you. Have a good week.
Who am I that the highest king would welcome me? I was lost, but he brought me in. Oh, his love for me. Oh, his love for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. Free at last, he has ransomed me. His grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. Not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you much